Godfather's movie. There's nobody that doesn't like that. Well, I'm reminded of a scene from The Godfathers today where Tom Hagen, the adopted consigliere, am I pronouncing that properly, of the family, is sent to meet Jack Woltz, the Hollywood producer, to get somebody into a movie. And so I'm having dinner at Woltz's house in Los Angeles, and the producer turns down the family's request to star this particular person in the movie. And so Hagen gets up to leave, and the guy says, "Where are you going?" And he says, "Well, Mr. Corleone is a man who insists on hearing bad news immediately. On hearing bad news immediately." I always stuck that quote always stuck with me. And how often have you ignored difficult situations? The result has been a huge time suck, just a huge time suck. Responding, communicating, not getting to the point, putting a stop to the problem, or at least defining a process for the problem. You just avoid doing that. It just keeps going on, and there's emails back and forth and phone calls and nasty text messages. And a great example of that would be a company that is in financial distress, which is my world to a large degree. And the companies that I go in to try to save very often have not communicated clearly, simply, and honestly with the people they owe money to, because they're trying to duck and weave and get out of this problem, and they just hope things are going to change for the better later in the future. And as some wise man once said, hope is not a plan. The result's always the same. You have burned bridges, ruined relationships, distrust, and also it creates this incredible level of internal stress with the employees in particular who are on the front lines. Think your controller, your accounting manager, your bookkeepers, AR clerks, AP clerks, people that are on the front lines that work with you in the front line of communication. They're answering phone calls, they're reading the nasty emails, and they just burn out. That is the highest level of burnout in any turnaround troubled company situation. I always say it's your controller you need to keep an eye on. They're good for about 6 months. It's just too much pressure for these people. And it's just a huge amount of time wasted when you don't deal with this early and often. Deliver the bad news immediately. If you think about the life cycle of one account, just one account, one company you owe money to, the phone calls, the emails, the internal conversations. What are we going to do about this? What should our messaging be? The text messages. And it just goes on and on. Let me get back to you next week. And then you don't get back to them next week. Then they call you, and it just goes on. How many hours is that